Hi everyone. All right, this is Adrian. So I think we'll go ahead and get started. It looks like we have a couple people still joining, but um, plenty more have already joined. So we'll go ahead and kick this off. So yeah, thanks everyone for making the time. Again, my name is Adrian, and I'm a part of the customer success team at Mindflash. Looks like with the group that we have today, I'm sure you're all as excited as I am to get started. And before we do, I just have a couple of housekeeping items to note. First, this webinar will be recorded and emailed to everyone who registered. So if you have any colleagues who couldn't attend this session or know someone who could benefit from learning a bit more about Mindflash, please feel free to forward this recording on to them. Secondly, this webinar is really all about helping you become more effective at using Mindflash. Not sure if you saw my comment there in the chat box in this GoToMeeting panel, but if you do have any questions, please do submit them throughout the presentation, and we'll make sure to go over them at the end. Great. Well, that's all the housekeeping for today, so let's go ahead and get started. So for some of you, you may be wondering what is Mindflash? And well, to set the stage here a bit, we're an online platform for sharing knowledge and training employees, customers, vendors, etc. We handle all common content types and allow really anyone to launch an online training course within minutes. You were invited to be a part of this webinar because you were assigned as a manager in Mindflash. Some of you may already be up and running and are looking for some tips and tricks you can apply to your daily routine. Others of you may not know exactly what you can do in Mindflash. Either way, you're in the right place, so don't worry, and I'm here to help. As managers, you really are at the forefront of determining how effective your online training is for your users, and as part of that are a crucial component of the ongoing management of your existing training courses. And how you do this is really in these three different primary areas of the product listed here, which we'll go over in the product demo in just a moment. But whether you're the type of role, and the type of role, sorry, that you have in your account can vary just depending on whether you're training you're internally or externally. If you're training internally, for example, you might be working on ensuring that your employees or staff go through all their compliance or regulatory training, or perhaps maybe your company is hiring constantly and you need to have all of your new employees go through an onboarding process consisting of various courses you have grouped together in a series. On the other hand, if you're training externally, you might have just purchased the new software and are looking to receive training courses on how to use it, or perhaps you're a distributor or partner and are looking to receive training courses on how to sell that particular product or service. Whichever of these two different buckets you fall under, there are a couple of core similarities in how you would go about managing your day-to-day in Mindflash. And as I mentioned before, the three primary ways where you would do so, where you can influence the effectiveness of your online training, are listed here. And so training management, course management, and reporting are the three primary sections. With training management, you can help move people along in their courses by sending them reminder emails to complete their training, or you can also reset someone's course so they can try again if they failed and give them some more time to complete the training if their deadline has expired. In addition to helping trainees, you can also determine what training path they take by inviting them to individual courses or series, catalogs, or even some live training as well. Lastly, after you've had more and more people complete their training courses, you can also use our built-in reporting functions to measure how effective your training is and identify areas where they may be having trouble. So with that said, I think as many of you here are looking forward to, let's go ahead and get into the product demo of this webinar, and we'll start with training management. And I'll pause here again just to make sure that everyone knows that this is really all about you. So if you do have any questions, even at this point or throughout the presentation, just let me know, and feel free to interrupt, and we'll go ahead and cover those at the end, as I mentioned. So here we have an example of what you would see when you log in. This particular user, David, is the manager in Mindflash. And as you can see, there's a number of different courses being displayed. And so the default view could be a little different for you, just depends on personal preference. I like the course tile view that we're looking at here, but if you have many more courses than I do, which I'm sure you might have more than I do, you can go ahead and switch it over to the list view instead. That way you have a one nice little clean list here, so you can pick and choose which of the two you prefer. But when it comes to training management, let's say that you have everyone invited to a new hire training course, and you just want to make sure that everyone is completing it as they should be. So what you could do is you could go ahead and click on this little icon here in the upper right corner, and that'll open up the course. But that could quickly become time consuming if you have multiple courses that you're handling at the same time. So there's actually a neat little trick you can use from here. So if I were to actually just move my cursor over here and click on the tile anywhere really there, you'll see that a right panel appears here. And so what this is really useful is it helps you identify which of the courses need your attention the most. So for this new hire training here, for example, you can see that I have quite a number of people that have gone through the course, and I can see whether people have passed or if anyone has failed the course, whether they missed the deadline, etc. So I can see all of these different stages that someone could be in this particular course. And you can do so by clicking on these tiles, as I mentioned, for any of these courses, so you can find out, again, where everyone is in that particular course. And so once you've identified the course you want to take action on, so maybe this new hire training here, for example, what I can do is I can go ahead and click on this manage button here if I want to go and take a look at all of the users, but maybe I just want to actually push these individuals through. So it looks like I have 4 people that have missed their deadline, so I can go ahead and click on that specifically. And so from this page, I have a couple different options. Because I clicked on missed deadline, only people that are under that status would appear on my list here. And so I can go ahead and drop them from the course if I'd like to. I can do so either one at a time, or maybe I want to select multiple people at the same time. And then you'll see that I can take group actions essentially on these individuals. And so maybe I want to set a new deadline for them of tomorrow. So you can see just as easy as that, I was able to modify all 4 of those individuals. And so from here, maybe I'm done, or maybe I want to go ahead and kind of alternate what kind of actions I take. And you'll see that all of these different filters that I have available here at the top will allow me to really focus in on the specific users that I'm interested in looking at. So this, in a nutshell, is how you can go about managing your users in individual courses. This also applies to any series that you might be sharing. And series, for those of you that aren't as familiar with it, it's your way of being able to group multiple courses together into a single offering. And so from your role, you'll be able to push them through their sequence of courses as in a similar way that you could with a course. You'll see that I can click on the tile here and be able to find exactly the person that I'm looking for. This person hasn't completed their series, so maybe I want to go ahead and send them a reminder email. Just as easy as that. So that's what's involved. We'll next talk about course management. But before that, again, just another reminder, if you do have any questions about what I've covered so far, or something that I didn't cover that you wanted to know more about, definitely let me know by submitting your questions on the right-hand side of the GoToMeeting, and we'll cover them after the demo. Now, as a manager, as I mentioned early on, in addition to being able to help your trainees along with managing them in their current courses, you can also even help to determine what type of training paths they take. And so I've already covered series a bit, which is a grouping of courses. Individual courses like this new hire training here, probably the easiest to understand, because this is the type of course that will consist of the PowerPoint presentation that someone's uploaded, a video or a quiz, for example. These are things that someone that's either a trainer or administrator would have uploaded into your account, so you wouldn't be in charge of uploading those content. But that's essentially what makes up an individual course. Now, when it comes to inviting a user to either an individual course or perhaps you want to invite them to a series, you could, as I did earlier, just open this course, click on this Manage button, and then go through the flow of actually inviting the user. So I can go ahead and click on this yellow button here. Or you can use the handy little shortcut that I was telling you about earlier. Maybe I want to welcome a new set of users to this Welcome to Mindflash course. I can go ahead and click on this Manage button here, hit Invite Trainees, go to Existing, and then depending on the type of users that I'm managing, I might be managing only a subset of people. So maybe I'm the sales manager, so you can see that I can only see individuals that are part of the sales team. So I can go ahead and select everyone from the sales group and be able to invite them into this course just as easy as that. And then in addition to inviting them to maybe courses or series, you might also think about providing them something that we call a catalog. And so you'll see that I have a 2015 product training here. And really the reason why you might send them a link to a catalog and not a series just depends on whether the courses are required for the user or maybe it's a set of courses that are more optional in nature. The way I like to think about a course catalog is actually in terms of a college catalog. So as a student, you would see every course that the university offers, but obviously you're not required to take them all. Instead, what you would do as a student is pick and choose the courses you're interested in or the ones that are relevant to what you're studying. That's essentially how our course catalog works as well. You determine the type of courses that are included in the catalog. And so in this particular scenario, I have a catalog that consists of all the different products that maybe the different markets that I'm working with, they're not all responsible for selling each of these products. So I just want to give them a list of everything that I offer them and have them essentially pick and choose which ones are relevant to them. And the last type of training that you can actually set for your users is actually something that we call a live training. And the way that this works is live training is a new feature that Mindflash offers, which essentially is the ability to track and manage live, in-person, and perhaps also virtual training courses that you have. So, for example, if I wanted to include everyone that attended this webinar in a live training course in Mindflash because I want to note that, okay, you've now been properly trained on the basics of how to enroll people into courses. So what I can do is I can go ahead and enroll you by uploading an Excel spreadsheet into this live training. And so now this record of you attending this webinar will be a part of every other course that you've taken in Mindflash, whether they were a video-based course or a PowerPoint-based course or as I mentioned here, because you attended this webinar, you're now also going to be a part of this as well. So if you do have any questions about how live training works specifically, you can either reach out to your trainer or administrator in the account, or as I'll show you at the end of the webinar, there's some contact information that you can use as well to get some more information. So this is, again, the course management end of things. And so when it comes to identifying which training paths are, I guess, most applicable for you, or which ones you're curious to see if you can implement, please, let me know if you have any questions about that in this webinar, or as I mentioned, you can reach out to your trainer or administrator, and then we'll make sure you get the responses that you need. But now I think let's go ahead and talk about how you can go about accessing your reporting data. So, up until this point, we've determined how you can easily extend deadlines. You can go ahead and push them through their courses, and then also even enroll them into different types of training paths. So, the more and more your users are completing their training, you're going to have a lot of different data that we're collecting for you. And this data can be, extremely important for you to determine if the training that you're providing them is effective. So you have really two types of reports available to you, something that we call the basic reports, and then another thing that we call advanced reports. Basic reports are actually available to you when you open the course. I preloaded ones for you here. And then once you open the course, if you go over to the track page, Basic reports are a way for you to see some simple information like whether they passed or failed the course, maybe they missed their deadline, and you can access it from this particular track tab here inside the course. And then once you're there, you can look at the data, and if you want to download what you see here on the screen, you can actually click on this View Course Report link here. And then what you'll see is you'll see all of this data, but now available here below. And if I wanted to, as I mentioned, I can go ahead and download this information below, and then provide that either to another supervisor, the team lead that's responsible for these users, or I can manipulate the Excel report that I download from here. A cool little trick, actually, also about this particular report that you may have not seen. If you are ever in a situation where someone is claiming that they selected answer B, but they were great and that was the correct answer, and the user believes that the system graded it incorrectly, you can actually verify what they actually responded to in a quiz. So if I were to take Juan here as an example, I can see that across the two different quizzes. The first one, 100%, great, awesome. But the second one, he seemed to have struggled a little bit. So if I wanted to know why Juan struggled with that particular quiz, I can go ahead and click on this quiz percentage there. And what that will do is it will allow me to see Juan's specific responses. So it looks like the first and the third question, he answered it correctly, but this middle one here, this true and false question, he selected false when the answer should have been true. So a nice little handy way of spot checking essentially what the user is telling you versus what they actually submitted. And then also just if you wanted to have whoever the supervisor or the partner is in charge of this particular person, you can have them see exactly where that particular user had trouble with and have this be an opportunity to follow up with them. And so again, this is all I guess, essentially surface level information, whether they passed or failed. But if you're looking for more detailed information or need to know how well your users overall are understanding the material, our advanced reporting is actually going to be able to really help you start to hone in on that very thing. And so for this particular page that we're looking at here, this is the overview page of the advanced reports, and it's a great place for you to go to get a sense for how all your users are progressing through all their courses. If you're interested to know a little bit more about each of these items, like let's say I want to know who these two individuals are that failed the course, I can go ahead and click on the number to find out exactly who they are. So you can see that these two users here failed one course apiece. And then I can also, from this particular page, just see overall how much training has happened in the entire account. So this is a collection of all users across all courses, whether it's a part of a series or a catalog. It takes the entire, the combination of the training time and puts it all together into this nice little package here. So the overview page is really great for more of a high-level overview. But my favorite report, and one that I found a lot of our customers really enjoy looking at, is actually here on the course detail page here. So I preloaded one where it shows you the different things that are going on in the new hire training that we were looking at just a moment ago. And so if I were to look at this particular report, you can also get some of the different information that we were looking at in the previous page, whether they passed or failed and where they are in the course. But also very useful about this particular page is you can also start getting some averages that are automatically calculated for you. So looks like the average score across all of my users going through this course is 92%, which given that the passing requirement that I set is 80, I'm really happy with that as a trainer. And so I think this would be a really great example of a successful course. Again, I can click on any of these numbers if I really want to know who they are. So who are the people that passed, who are the people that missed the deadline. But one thing that's really useful and cool about this particular report is actually here under the quiz details section, where if I were to click on any of these quiz titles here, so let's say I want to go into this new hire quiz 2. Under this particular view, what's really cool about it, my example is a bit short on the number of questions, so you'll likely see a longer list here. But essentially, what this report is showing you, it's showing you percentages of what people are getting right or wrong on individual questions. And so in my course, it looks like everyone is on the whole getting the questions right, but for some reason, that top question there, half of my users are getting it right and half of them are getting it wrong. So for me, clearly something is wrong with this particular question. Either the wording of the question itself is confusing, or maybe this could be an area of the course where people are truly having trouble understanding the content. But either way, as you can see with this very simple example, this would be a great opportunity for me as the manager to be able to bring this up and see if we can make this course clearer, or ask the administrator or the trainer in the account to perhaps maybe create a new course on the subject that they're having trouble with. So there's a couple of different ways that you can go ahead and analyze this information. And then the last thing that I find a lot of our customers get value from this particular report is under the slide versus duration section. And so in this particular report, what's really good about it is that it allows you to see how long people are spending on individual slides within your course. And so for this particular example, let's say this slide 13 here, my expectation is that it only should take 10 seconds for a user to complete it. But here you can clearly see that people are spending on average over 2 minutes to complete it. So this could be a sign for me that maybe there's too much or there's more information listed in that slide than I originally anticipated, or maybe there's something else that could be going on with the slide. So if I wanted to get a quick reminder of what that slide is, I can go ahead and click on any of these numbers here. And so if I were to click on that number 13 there, it looks like there's a slide there. And so my original assumption was mistaken. So it looks like it should be about 2 minutes of content. So for this particular example, it's just shy over that 1 minute and 50-second mark. So in this particular case, this works great. But again, if this was a 30-second or a 10-second slide, and they were spending that amount of time, then I can quickly start identifying areas where maybe I should think about spreading that content out across multiple slides instead of having it just be on one. And so the last thing I guess I would mention from these reports, outside of those different ways where you can assess the health of a user and just the course overall, whether it's successful or not, sometimes I know that the managers that I've worked with in the past are just looking for something that's comprehensive. So not just a single course that you're trying to assess, but you're trying to get multiple courses perhaps. Maybe your supervisor or an executive needs to see that type of information. And so for this particular report, if I scroll up to the top here, you'll see that there's an exports option here. And so these are great because what they'll allow you to do is it allows you to download in a single report all of the information across all of your users and courses. So here, for example, pretty self-explanatory as far as the titles go, and I'm able to modify the report so that it only shows me people that are active in the system or maybe people that I've deactivated over the years, and I can also determine the date range. So here is where you can really get a single report for that executive that could be requesting it. All right, so let's go ahead and go back into the presentation here. So we covered these 3 different items here. And so, again, if you do have any questions, let me know. But there are a couple things that I didn't highlight as far as the role that you have in Mindflash. And one thing that I have had users come to me with questions about is, why can't I do X? And so I alluded to it earlier, but one of the things you can't do is you actually do not have the control over creating or editing existing courses. And so the limitations that you see when you're logged in they're likely going to be because of the role that you're assigned in Mindflash. And so if you do come across a situation where you don't see a particular feature that another colleague has, it's going to be because of the restricted level of access that you have as a manager. And so the sections here, creating courses, adding new user groups, or creating new user groups in custom fields, those are all different things that you wouldn't have access to. And so if you feel like any of these are prohibiting you from being able to help your users along, then I definitely bring this up to someone in your account that either has an administrator or trainer level of access, and then they'll be able to help you out. Alrighty, great. Well, that's all I had in store for our webinar today. And so we'll go ahead and transition into the Q&A portion of this and see what we have. Okay, so the first question that I have here may have come in after I showed it, but how can I remind trainees to complete training? So I showed one way that you can do that. From the home page here, you can go ahead and click on the tile and then go ahead and select the specific status that you're interested in. But another thing actually that you can do is you can actually go into the Manage Users page here, and this might be a more efficient way for some of you if you prefer to search for exactly the type of users you're looking for in one page. So the Manage Users page, just for those of you that may not be familiar, is basically where all of your users are. So you can see all of their user information, what courses they're enrolled in. And so if I wanted to send everyone a reminder email that have not completed their courses, what I can do is I can go ahead and select, okay, I'm only interested in people that are active. I'm only interested in people that are enrolled in either a course or a series. And since I'm looking to send reminder emails, really the two people that I'd be able to do that for, those that are invited, which means they have not started the course, or those that are in progress that they're plugging through the course, but they still haven't completed it. So these are the users that I'm most interested in. So now I have a nice clean list. Doesn't matter what course they're in, doesn't matter what series they're in. All that matters is that these are individuals that have started some course or some series, but they have not finished. And so what I could do at this point is I can actually select all of them at once. Click on this Manage button here. And then basically just determine, okay, what reminder email do I want to send them? Do I want to send them a reminder email for this Welcome to Mindflash course? Do I want to send them a reminder email for everything? It'll really be up to me, but if I know that I'm just managing that new hire training here as an example, I can go ahead and select that, and I want to take some actions on that course. And so here I can easily just select, okay, so everyone that's invited, everyone that's in progress, and then go ahead and send all 14 of these individuals a reminder email. So just as easy as that. So that's another way that you'll be able to remind people of their courses. Okay. And then how do I extend a trainee's course deadline? Perfect. So with the same view, actually that's how you would be able to do it. So if I go ahead and instead of selecting people that are invited or in progress, what I can do is I could just make sure that I'm only selecting people that are showing up as missed deadline. And so now smaller list, but now same steps. I can go ahead and select multiple people at a time. And then just depending on which course it is, maybe it's this Welcome to Mindflash course. All 8 people are showing up as missed deadline, so I can go ahead and select that category and then set a deadline for them whenever I'd like them to have. So that's another way there. Okay. So another question that I have here, if a trainee failed a course that is a part of a series, how do I reset that one course? So for that, what you can do is from this homepage here. I have this new hire onboarding series that I invited someone to. So I can go ahead and let's say that this person that's in progress failed one of my courses. What you'll want to do is you want to reset them from within the series itself. Um, and you don't have to reset the whole thing. So that means that if you have several dozen courses in the series, they won't have to redo all of them. What you can do is you can actually click on this little arrow icon here, which expands to show me everything that they've done. And so maybe I want to reset this Welcome to Mindflash course for them. So it's just a matter of me clicking on that specific reset button for the course. And then as soon as I do, they'll now have access to that course only, or sorry, said differently, they'll now have the ability to retake that course, and they're only required to take that course and none of the others. So that's how you would go about resetting individuals in a course that are a part of a series. Okay, any other questions from folks? Okay, great. Well, I think that seems to be all the ones that people have submitted. And so I mentioned before that, one of the ways that you can get help is if you were to contact your administrator or trainer in the account, they're much more likely to know the exact setup of your account and why maybe you're using series and not catalogs, or you're using catalogs and not series. But we do have a help center that you can access, which is available here at the link, help.mindflash.com. Uh, this particular page will have a lot of different resources for you with many step-by-step guides on how to invite users or download reports. For example, everything that I've showed you would be available there. So if you're the type that likes to do things on their own, highly encourage you to check that out. But otherwise, yeah, again, thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and happy training. Bye-bye, everyone.